now.
We begin this half hour with the Pontiac mother who's in custody after police say she abandoned her 3 children in a home for years.
13 on your sides, Josh Albertus, listen in on what the Oakland County Sheriff had to say at a news conference this afternoon. Josh.
Yeah, guys, the sheriff saying they found these kids after a welfare check was called, ages 12, 13, and 15, according to a release. The sheriff said they were scared to leave the home, the boy only coming out to check the mail and to feel the grass. Detectives believe they were first abandoned in 2020, and since then, they had now been living in a home with feet-high piles of trash, feces in the bathtub and around the home, and a toilet that wasn't working. People have been asking, how did seemingly no one else know about this situation? Reporters were told the investigation had layers to it. It appeared food was dropped off by food delivery services, but they were unaware of the situation inside. Others had been told by the mom, the sheriff said, that somebody else was babysitting the kids or there were other circumstances. The landlord had called a welfare check after not having been paid for rent by who he thought was the tenant since October, which is when the kids were found just this past weekend after that welfare check. And the schools not having known. This is somewhere the sheriff, who's also a former member of the state Senate, said there's gaps in the school code and there needs to be some changes to state law to mandate, among other things, written confirmation that a child is somewhere else before they can be unenrolled in the school they had attended. But these conditions are what the sheriff said was one of the most tragic long-term situations like this he'd ever seen.
Imagine maybe by 10 living in what we showed you and then play it out over years, not days or weeks. So it's hard to wrap your head around this one. So there's going to be a lot of long-term, I think, mental health and educational needs and things that we want to try to help with the family to get to that point.
And off to the side of this press conference, the sheriff's office also put out what Bouchard said was just a small part of what they had received from the community overall after calling for donations. They got so much that they are actually now focusing somewhere else, steering away from clothing donations and now collecting financial donations to put toward the kids' future well-being. 100% of those contributions, he said, will go directly to the children. In the newsroom, Josh Albertus, 13 on your side.